Hello, my beautiful friends. Hope you're doing amazing. Today, we're going to be doing a full face of e.l.f. while I tell you about why I have all this e.l.f. drugstore makeup, if that's something you'd be interested in. Hi, if you're new here, my name is Audrey. Thank you so much for being here. Please consider subscribing down below before you leave. We talk about makeup over here. I'm just a mom who loves makeup, and that's what we do. And if you're returning, hi, hello, welcome. I love and appreciate you, and let's get started. Okay, so I picked up all of this e.l.f. drugstore makeup for an event that I did at my local women's center. Women's center, not shelter, center. So, I am going to do a full face of e.l.f. today, and I'm going to tell you a little bit about my personal story of my local women's center and why it meant so much to me to donate my time and my makeup knowledge, what little I have, to the women's center. So, forewarning, I am going to be talking about some pretty deep personal things, including, my decision to choose life and what led me there, and, so please keep the comments kind and let's get started. Put some drugstore e.l.f. makeup on my face. Oh, I am a luxury makeup channel. This is really it might be a one-time thing, who knows? And yeah, we'll get more into that in a moment. All right, starting off with the e.l.f. This is the Liquid Poreless Putty Primer. Now, I don't remember any of the prices, but if you see like any kind of sticky residue on the products that I'm holding up, that's because I went through before I went to the women's event, and I stuck a piece of paper to it and wrote down the prices of all of this e.l.f. makeup so I could show them how inexpensive a full face of makeup could be. So that's the explanation for that. Okay, starting with e.l.f. Liquid Poreless Putty Primer. I used to only have drugstore makeup. If you go back to the beginning of my channel, that's pretty much what I had. And I actually had the e.l.f. Putty Primer, the not liquid version. I remember when the liquid version came out, but I had the putty version instead of the liquid, and I loved the putty version. I remember really liking it a lot. So I didn't use this primer on any of the women. I only did 4 women's makeup at the event, but because I like to talk, there was a lot of women, probably 30 women, including the volunteers, plus the women who showed up to get pampered. It was an incredible night full of, there was makeup, I was the makeup, there was hair, like 3 hairdressers doing haircuts for women, and a little bit of styling. There was, nails and pedicures, manicures, pedicures, and massage therapist. Women were getting massages too, and it was an incredible time for just moms to relax and have a good time. This is the e.l.f. Soft Glam Satin Foundation. I got the shade 13, Fair Neutral, so we'll see how this goes. But I didn't actually apply any, I did. I didn't apply the primer or this foundation onto the women when I did their makeup. I just brought them so they could see how much they cost and that they are an option, When I did the women's makeup at the event, I actually, this is a little light. Oh, well, we'll make it work. I showed them this paper that I printed out. I had them take a picture of it, and they had my, my YouTube handle on the bottom of this picture, and these are the 5 easy steps of makeup that I would consider that you only need if you want to feel put together. Everything else is kind of extra, right? I'm an extra kind of person, but everything else is not super necessary. So, concealer, brow gel, blush, mascara, lip gloss. That's the only 5 things that I used on the women when I did their makeup at the event. And it was fast and easy, and I think most of them actually really liked how their makeup turned out, and it was good. I loved just giving them that example. You know, sometimes when you don't do makeup all the time, I know when I started doing makeup, I felt like, oh my gosh, you feel a little overwhelmed and you feel like I need so much stuff, and I don't know what is brow gel and what is what kind of powder should I get, and do I need eyeshadow primer and things like that. So I was really enjoyed and inspired to let them know that they don't need all those steps, that really those 5 steps are gonna be fast and help you feel put together really easy. So I used on them the e.l.f. Hydrating Camo Concealer. This is the shade Fair Beige. This is the shade we're going to use today, but I had 5 different options. Now, I don't have a professional makeup kit. I am not a professional. I made that very clear when I was asked to do the event. I just have this YouTube channel, which is now considered a small business, I'd say. So I have a small business where I do YouTube. But in order to make sure that I could provide services for these women the best of my ability, I ordered 5 of these e.l.f. Camo Concealers, all in like the neutral shades. So they weren't a perfect match for the women, but I did mix and match on my little palette, and then I feel like I did a pretty good job matching their skin tones. So if you can't find the right shade of concealer, mix and match. And I had a lot of fun trying to figure out, you know, how much color, light and dark to mix together to match their skin tones. No surprise, they were, most of them, a lot darker than me. Most of the women I did had quite the tan, and I don't. But I'm really glad that I went ahead and picked up those shades so that I could mix and match, because it turned out really nice. So that's what I did concealer wise. I bought a bunch of little disposable sponges and disposable mascara wands, disposable lip applicators, you know, disposable little eyeshadow sponges. It wasn't the best that I could have done, but it was very minimal and it turned out really well. So I just blended out that concealer with this brush. I get to talking. So, that was wonderful. Doing their makeup was so fun. It was so fun. It was so great. I really enjoyed talking to them. I also got the opportunity to share a little bit of my story and a little bit of my testimony and why I was so excited when the host of the event asked me if I would be willing to donate my time and makeup to these women, because I have a very personal connection to my local women's center. So if I get to talking and I forget anything that I've put on my face, if I forget to mention anything, everything is linked in the description box, affiliate links if you want to support the channel. Okay, so eyeshadow primer from e.l.f. All of it's from e.l.f. Lock it down. I got pregnant when I was 19. I was about to turn 20. So my brother died in 2015 in a car accident. And then it was a complete shock to my system and very shocking for everyone. It was a very sudden death. And I was dating the man who is now my ex-husband. So we'd been dating not for that long, really, 6 months. And then my brother died, and then I decided that I wanted to have a baby because that would make it better. And I was extremely grief-stricken and sad, and just, I mean, the emotions of that. If you've ever experienced anything like that, that sudden, my whole life was just, felt like it had exploded. So I ended up getting pregnant a week after my brother died. What did I do? Eyeshadow primer. I was gonna do brows. Ay. Ultra precise brow pencil in I can't find the shade. It's the brown one. Where is it? Weird. Huh, I don't see it. Oh, is it on the... Oh, yes, it's right. It's really, really tiny. Neutral brown. I cannot believe it is that tiny on the end. Anyways, neutral brown eye pencil. So, I got pregnant a week after my brother died. And then I didn't find out, because you don't test. I didn't find out that I was pregnant. Didn't test until a little bit after my 20th birthday. So, Michael, my brother, died on January 9th, and then I turned 20 February 7th, and then like a couple weeks after that, I took a test, and I was pregnant. And I want you to remember, as I'm telling this story, that my life looked very, 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 very different. Very different. I was not raised in a Christian home, and my parents did the absolute best that they could. And, yeah, life just looked different back then. Really different. And I was raised in a home where you get married and then you have babies. It was really pressed into my head, right? I was going to go to school. I was going to be a veterinarian. I was going to go to college. I had all these things, right, that I was going to do. e.l.f. Wow Brow Tinted Gel in the brown, neutral brown. I got neutral brown in both. And so when I found out I was pregnant, I mean, I panicked, obviously. I was just turned 20 years old, wasn't married, and I panicked. And, it's probably a good thing, because I went to my sister-in-law first. Her name's Jade. She's been on the channel before. She was on a live. Love her very much. She is Slade's sister. And even when I wasn't married to Slade, I have been friends with Jade. We've had our ups and downs, but we've been friends and known each other since we were like 14, 13. So, brows are done. Contour next. Camo, liquid, bronzer, and contour in Fair Light. So I went to Jade because she was my best friend at the time. It's a really good thing I went to Jade too. Because Jade was raised in the church. She was a Christian, and I always knew she was a Christian, and I was mean about it. I was not nice about her being a Christian. So I knew she was a Christian, and I mean, she's one of the smartest people I know, streetwise. She's lived a lot of life. So I knew she would know what to do. So I went to her, and I was like, I showed her the positive pregnancy test, and I was like, I don't know what to do. And I'm freaking out. And my brother just died a month ago, and I'm an emotional wreck, and I don't know what to do. So she took me, instead of taking me to Planned Parenthood, which is, always an option. She took me to my local women's center. And looking back on it now, if she had taken me to Planned Parenthood, I truly believe that my son, my oldest, Michael, wouldn't be here today. She, as a Christian, took me to my local women's center. Blush in Copper Etiquette. This is the Camo Liquid Blush. I took a pregnancy test, tested positive. They did their special test that's not like an over-the-counter, like a much more intense, right? So I tested positive for pregnancy, and I remember being there and just hysterically crying the entire time. A lot of fear of the unknown, a lot of terrified to tell my mother, a lot of, I was just so grief stricken, didn't know how to deal with any of those emotions I was having. I literally sobbed the entire time. And the super nice lady that I don't remember her face, I don't remember her name, I don't remember her. She kept asking me over and over, do you have a good support system? Do you have a good support system? Are you supported at home? And I was like, yeah, I am. I knew that I was. And I knew that no matter what I chose to do, terminate or not, my family was going to support me. I knew that I had a good support system. It's just I had no idea how to deal with any of the things that were happening to me at that moment. She did an internal ultrasound because I was so early, and I saw my little baby, and she gave me like a baby blanket, and I think she might have given me like a little beanie or something that is donated to them, and she gave me a Bible, and I still have that Bible. I still have that little handheld, that little Bible. It's like this big. And I remember being really annoyed because I was like, oh, she gave me a Bible, blah. Because I wasn't raised that way. Okay, continuing with eyeshadow. So I decided I was going to have the baby. I also decided that my ex-husband and I were going to get married because I was pregnant. So 6 months after that, we ended up getting married, and we know how that turned out. That was extremely toxic and not good. But since I got pregnant, we were going to get married. That's how you do it. So yeah, I went to my mom after I had calmed down and we had determined that I was going to keep the baby. And I remember Jade just being extremely supportive because, obviously I was terrified. And obviously she thought I should keep the baby. And growing up, that was never the plan. If I were to get pregnant outside of wedlock, I was going to terminate. That was the plan. It just was. That's how I was raised. That's what it was. I got put on birth control when I was 14 years old. And if anything happened, that's the conversation my mother and I had, and I was going to terminate. If I had been a teenager, I probably still might have. But I was 20 years old. I was an adult. And I decided I was going to keep my baby because I went to that women's center, my local women's center, and she was so supportive and kind. And then I went to my mother, told her I was pregnant. She said, "Are you going to terminate?" And I said, "No, I don't think so." She said, "Okay, let's do this." She was extremely supportive, and it was, I ended up naming him Michael after my brother that passed away. And I truly believe that it was everything. Everything that ever happens is a God thing. There are no such thing as coincidences. So it was a God thing. And Michael, my son, he is about to turn 10 in October. And he is just growing into his preteen personality. And that's a whole new bucket of worms we've never experienced before. But he is the hugest blessing, and he absolutely changed my life. Even though the marriage with my ex-husband didn't work out, he was always just my little ray of sunshine. He's so sweet, and yeah, I can't imagine life without him. I just can't. You've seen him. You've seen him on here. You've seen him on my lives multiple times. He's incredible. And he almost wasn't long for this world. But he is, and he's here. So that was my story that I stood up in front of all of those women and told at this Women's Center event while I, after we'd pretty much finished up with our time. It was like a 3-hour long event, and then I stood up and told my story. So I just used the I Love You a Latte eyeshadow palette from e.l.f. And now I'm going to use the Finest Fleck Glitter eyeshadow in Champagne Showers. So yeah, I had the most incredible time. I met a lot of women from all ages and different amounts of children. I really enjoy, it's fun for me, I really enjoy telling them that I have 6 kids. Nobody just assumes that, It's quite a large number. But it's good. It's wonderful. And I had the most incredible time. The most incredible time. It was such a huge blessing to be able to be there. And yeah. I used all drugstore makeup at the event. Eyeliner, no budge retractable eyeliner in, oh my goodness, coffee. So I know, okay, before I get the comments and things, it is what it is. I know that you can get a full face that looks decent from drugstore makeup. I do not like this eyeliner. This is not doing what I want. Just kidding. No eyeliner. I know that drugstore makeup can achieve a look that is good enough. And if you're on a budget and you have to shop drugstore makeup, then that's okay. That is good, and you can find incredible products at the drugstore. I used to only use drugstore makeup. I mentioned that. It was, oh my gosh, that e.l.f. foundation in like the little jar with the pump? I used that every single day of my life for a while. So I completely understand what it's like to not have the income for luxury makeup. But personally, I just make this choice. My choice is I would rather, instead of spending, and this full face of e.l.f., everything that I purchased was about $120. And personally, I would rather save the $120 and buy one Chanel product than all of the e.l.f. makeup. And that's just me. That's my personal preference. Some people don't feel that way. There are also categories that are really good at the drugstore versus at Sephora that you can for sure get. I had a subscriber comment that, mascara and eyeliner are drugstore products she purchases. And yeah, the mascara and eyeliner are really good products to purchase at the drugstore. You go through them a lot and they're less expensive. I just personally don't want to. I think it has a lot to do with the fact that when I was using drugstore makeup, I could not afford this nice makeup that I have now, the luxury makeup. So, this is the e.l.f. lip liner cream glide lip pencil in baddest beige. And because I have an incredible supportive husband now that allows me to buy the luxury makeup, why wouldn't I want to? I think that it is the experience and I just love I love the luxury world. I am so deep into it now. It's not going to stop. But I know that you can get an incredible, beautiful face of makeup with drugstore inexpensive products. I know that to be true. So, I hope that makes sense. I just bit all over myself. I really enjoyed the event, and I would do it again. And I picked up a clear lip oil and a sparkly lip oil, depending on what the women wanted. And I just think, I mean, motherhood is hard, and we need to stand by each other. And that is pretty much what the whole event was about. I didn't use any of this powder that I bought. This is the Halo Glow Powder Filter in Fair Neutral Cool, which would totally work for me, but I'm not going to use any powder right now. We're going to spray with the Power Grip Dewy Setting Spray. This looks good. I'd say the eyeshadow is where the drugstore lacks hard. I mean, it's okay, but I could get a much more blended, sophisticated look with my more expensive eyeshadow products, right? The foundation looks all right. Wow, that's a very fine mist. Holy cow. Where is it? But, and I'm sure that there's better foundations at the drugstore than this e.l.f. one. But these are really, really nice. I'm super impressed by them. So that's cool. But yeah, these I wouldn't. If you want a good eyeshadow palette, definitely splurge. And there is less expensive ones. You don't have to go huge. There's really good eyeshadow palettes at the drugstore. And I'm not a huge fan of this mascara. But, you know, this is good. This will work. This is a full face of makeup, and it does not look bad. I have used much, much worse products from the luxury world, I'd say, except for the eyeshadow. I'm just not, I don't think the eyeshadow looks very nice. But, okay, thanks for hanging out with me. Thanks for listening to my story, my experience at this incredible women's event that I went to. It was so amazing. Let me know down in the comments, do you have any personal experience with something like that? I would love to hear your stories. And how do you feel? Luxury, drugstore? Let me know. You guys know how I feel. And yeah, thank you so much for hanging out with me for this video today. If you made it to the end of the video, thank you so much. I love and appreciate you. Give this video a thumbs up if you love videos like this, and I will see you in my next one. Bye!
Hello.
What's on your chin? It's red. What'd you do to your hair?
Oh, that's marker.
Oh, marker. I think all this will be yours.
Really?
Yeah, I'm going to give you the e.l.f. stuff.
L?
e.l.f.
e.l.f.
It's a drugstore brand.
e.l.f. 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 e.l.f.
Yes,
e.l.f.
it was a full face of e.l.f. And hey, we might have a good match for you in one of these. Because they're way too dark for me. Or we can mix and match. This one might match good. Look at that. See? Helpful. Because, you know, none of my stuff matches her. Look at how much darker she is than me.